Hello there, everybody. I just got a request from someone on the Bnet forums. Hello, everybody. Horst here. I got a request from someone on the Bnet forums to do a video critique of a replay. I haven't watched this before. I don't know what level the players are at. I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't even know who wins this game. Judging by the fact that he's asking for a critique, I'm assuming Protoss loses, but we're going to go and see why. So this should be pretty interesting. I've never actually done this before, so we'll see what happens. Close air positions is kind of annoying for TOS. Really, there are very few TOS builds to take advantage of close air positions, while there are a lot of Zerg ones like Mass Hydra drops. Then there's Mutaplay, which are very powerful. The pylon placement means he's going for a Forge Expand. 9 times out of 10 a Forge Expand anyway. I mean, in close positions like this, if you blindly put the pylon down and you have a Zerg over here, a lot of the time what you can just do is 2-gate, and because the 2-gate's on your low ground, it'll be very effective. But that's probably not what he's doing in these positions. So he's just going to keep chrono boosting, and now he should send a probe along here to spot this Overlord. That's what I would have done anyway. Let's actually just hide the Zerg perspective. And there goes the Forge. Now it's definitely a Forge Fast Expand. Keep making probes, looks good so far. And there comes the annoying drone. Just gonna scout up around in there. Very annoying. I hate drones. One of the most deadly things that Zerg can actually do against this is a proxy hatchery just in the corner of the base. Even if you catch it, there's like no real cost-effective way to deal with it. You have to build a pylon next to it and then a cannon next to it, and you can just cancel the hatchery once your cannon finishes and you spent 300 minerals for nothing. This strikes me as a really bad idea. Why would you go Forge then Gateway? That makes no sense at all. I'd put a cannon down and then expand after I get the cannon up. That would make a lot more sense than this Gateway. And there's the Zerg expansion. We don't know if it's a hatch first. It's a hatch first build. Definitely at this point what I would do is just pylon block and cannon this. Ah, and there we go. Oh god, why? This probe is stuck in there. That is so... The Zerg could have easily stopped this if it's, like, any sense at all. But it's going to work on this case. Does the Zerg even know it's coming? Oh my god, this is a bad Zerg. Okay, whatever. I still don't see the point of the gateway. That seems like money wasted to me. If you're going to get a gateway that early, you might as well get a gas early and just start teching. And this little block will be awesome, and the Zerg should really cancel that, but he doesn't even know it's there. Oh, now he sees that he should cancel. He has time still. And he doesn't cancel. Wow. If TOS loses this game, I have no idea what to think of this anymore. 3 cannons is a bit much. You should probably cancel one of those. And still no expansion of that's killing you. You need that expansion of it. Why are you going for Cyber Core? That's just bad. No. Bad TOS player. You should go for a Nexus. That could have been a Nexus right there. There's no way in hell that the Zerg is breaking out of this anytime soon. And even if he does, if you hadn't built that cannon, you could have another cannon back here, and you could have a Nexus up, and you could be on 2 bases. And see, you don't need a cannon yet. That's irrational. There's no way he's breaking out of there for a little bit. Oh, I did get a couple of Zerglings out. Okay, the cannon's a good idea. Well, you should have had the cannon up already. You shouldn't have had the gateway. Check income. I don't think you've been making probes this whole time, because you would have, like, probably more than 21 if you're making probes continuously. And you can't just continue the wall in. This is not going to work. You don't need a full wall in against, like, 6 Zerglings. 2 cannons, maybe 1 back here, would be more than enough to handle this. All these extra buildings should have been a Nexus a while ago, so your economy would be way ahead by now. The best way to handle this would probably, after that cannon block, I would have gone air, and that would have worked out really well. I don't know why you have 4 cannons down here. That strikes me as incredibly unnecessary. Those banelings could really be cool. They just detonate against the center pile and knock all of them out. Oh, so painful. Ow, that hurts. And that's just 600 minerals gone right there for no real reason. Now, I really don't think that that cannon block was worth it at this point because you didn't take advantage of it. Didn't expand behind it quick enough. I mean, your expansion's slightly ahead of them, but it's not enough. The Zerg should have taken this advantage to get more tech anyway. Well, I'm not saying the Zerg player is good either, but jeez. Oh, at least your Nexus is going down now. And really, one of the first things you should have done is start mining gas so you can get that warp gate research going as soon as possible. If you had put this down like long before, while you're building all these extra buildings, you would have had enough gas to start that, get that chrono boosted out, and follow this up with a 6-gate timing push, like right after that hatch finishes. Money's getting a little high. You should probably start building more gateways. You're going to want 5 or 6 of them, unless you're going for a tech-heavy build. But again, you got to make use of this chrono boost on the probe. Oh, and this is not a great idea here. You want to leave 16 probes here. So you only have 8 there now, and you transferred over 8. You'd want to leave all of your probes on this, not transfer any over. Set both Nexus rally points to here, and just rally all the probes you make in the future out. That way you don't lose any mining time from the probes wandering over when they could be mining at max efficiency right here. Also, when you have 2 Nexuses set 2 separate rally points, it's hard to gauge when they're both going to be fully saturated. So that's a bit of a blunder, I think. Yeah, the Stargate's a decent enough idea. You finally have all your gases mining. I would actually consider throwing on a second Stargate and going for like 2 Void Rays and then pumping a bunch of Phoenix out. Once you have those couple of Void Rays, you can just go in and start knocking down structures while the Phoenix cover and lift up any queens. But we are looking fairly good, actually. Zerg has a slight supply lead and has more workers, but yeah, I hope by this point you see how valuable it would have been to get that Nexus down a lot earlier and continuously produce probes, because any advantage you had from that cannon rush is gone now, because you're equal workers. He has a little bit more food, but he's Zerg, so that's normal. It's not looking too good for Toss. You gotta make something happen. I would have gone for a Void Ray first, not the Phoenix. I mean, as cool as Phoenix are, you need like 5 or 6 of them to do any significant damage. Void Rays, you can just go in and start popping overlords real fast, and you can keep making Phoenix to support it. I mean, 1 Void Ray and 1 Phoenix is a lot more dangerous than 2 Phoenix. Twilight Council is an interesting idea. Possibly for Templar, possibly for Dark Templar. Or maybe just Blink. Blink Stalkers followed by Mass Phoenix and Void Rays is actually pretty good. But these, are these changelings? No. These 3 Zealots here should be working on these rocks right now to secure your 3rd base. Right now is about the time you'd actually want to take a 3rd base. Although by now you'd probably want your first 2 to be saturated before you take it. You see again, this Nexus is idle. You should be making probes constantly. That is not even close to full saturation. That's only 9 probes. This one here is fully saturated. However, this one is not. And right now you can see that because this Nexus is rallied here, any probes you make are just going to be wasted from this point on. You should rally both Nexus to your expansion. Here the Phoenix are going to do some damage, but see the Zerg already is getting Spire out, and once that Spire pops and makes some Corruptors, the Phoenix are no longer a threat. And he's getting his 3rd base up. Slightly delayed, but not too bad. Yeah, see, if the Zerg was skilled at all, what he would have done is when he saw that cannon, he would have cancelled, taken his drone, and expanded right there immediately while he broke out here. But he did not do that, so that's his problem. You gotta make sure your Phoenix are actually attacking the things they lift up. Oh well. Now this is really ill-advised here on the Zerg's part. He had an advantage and he's just kind of like tossing it away, giving you back the game. Although you want to pull these sentries back, you never want to have sentries fighting directly against roaches. And there come the Void Rays. This is good. So far it's looking like Toss is firmly in control. But you do need that expansion up, and you need to work on the saturation here. This expansion is way late. You should be busting down the rocks, expanding there, or you can take the gold even, that's fine too. Just one of these 2 has to be taken as your 3rd. I don't like the idea of going for something like here or here. You might want to sneak an expansion over here even, because then you start mining from what the Zerg is traditionally his base. So if the game goes super late game, when he tries to expand there, he'll realize it's mined out and be like, oh crap. You could expand here early on and build a wall of photon cannons here or something. That'd be kind of, there's weird things you could have done. And here you see Phoenix actually hard counter Hydralisks, which is weird but true. Can't overcommit here. I would back off right now because you don't know what's about to pop out of those eggs, and on the creep, hydras are pretty fast. Okay, apparently nothing's popping out, so whatever. Yeah, be careful not to lose these Void Rays. Those couple of Hydras can do some serious damage. I don't know why he bothered getting a Spire and didn't get Corruptors. Corruptors, like 6 or 7 of them in this situation, would be very good. He's going to focus fire at the Voids quickly because he has superior numbers of Corruptors, and then he could have dealt with Phoenix. That's a Zerg's mistake. Here, the dual forges is a bad idea, pretty much. You don't have the economy to... Oh, actually, you have the resources banked. You should be spending those to really support the dual forge. You only have 3 gateways at this point. You should have like 6 gateways, and you should be taking a 3rd base like 5 minutes ago to support that kind of economy. Usually I don't like starting the dual forge upgrades until I'm already on 3 bases. And there go more gateways. Oh, 2 Robos. That's an interesting choice. Most likely for Colossus, but yeah, Mass Immortal's pretty good. Now I have no idea why you have Twilight Council still. You have like, what do you have on the ground here? You have Blink and you have Charge, but you only have like 4 units that can possibly use those upgrades. So you spent like, what, 350 on upgrades for 4 units here. That strikes me as remarkably cost inefficient. Well, there's the Temple Archives, that's good at least. Get Storm out. Some Templar. That base is so ridiculously late. Because, well, you didn't really fast expand, so it's not really a problem, but you're going to be almost mined out here soon. So this is the point where you're actually going to take a 4th base, because you're just going to mine this base out, and you're going to be on this base, and your economy won't be any better than it was before. You're just going to go from 3 mining bases to 2 mining bases. Right along this gap here, I built a couple of photon cannons here, heavy cannons here. You have so many resources, you might as well chuck down 4 or 5 cannons. I mean, what you spend your money on isn't nearly as important as just spending it on something. I'd rather have a bunch of useless structures than just 3,000 minerals sitting in the bank. This is not going to work out well at all. Oh god, this is going to be bad. Hydras are not your friend when you have no Colossus. Maybe. No. Yeah, that didn't work out well at all. You needed the Colossus. See, if you had had that base sooner, you'd have had the resources to make Colossus quicker. There's nothing like transitioning into Colossus when he has no Corruptors. It's a great feeling. But yeah, you can see he just makes Hydras with impunity because he has nothing to worry about. There come the Colossus. I'm not a fan of going for the Colossus tech at the same time as the Templar tech. You usually want to go Colossus, then once you counters it with a bunch of Corruptors, then you switch to Templar. So what that means you can do is you can usually start out by just building one, and then while you're fighting, you build the other. You don't do both at the same time. That strikes me as really inefficient. Now see, you have no ground army, and you're not rebuilding your ground army. You're spending all your money on Colossus. So all he has to do is make a bunch of Corruptors, and then your Colossus are useless, and you have no army to begin with. But I don't know if he's even going to make Corruptors. He might not. But even still, just Colossus by themselves lose to Roaches. You need a serious mass of Stalkers to block for them. Stalkers, the one thing they do good is they take a punch. And see right here, this is just going to be a bad situation. He has a lot of Hydras, so maybe with decent micro and force fields you can win this. But it's going to be real hard. don't know why he's falling back. It's a fight he can win. I mean, I know Colossus are good against Hydras, but Jesus, with that many, you could just run up and one-shot your Colossus, basically. See? Just like that. Boom. Once you have a critical number of those Hydras, unless you have a large Stalker army to go with your Colossus, Colossus aren't going to cut it by themselves. At this point, it's pretty much over. Although we'll see how long the Protoss can hold out while losing. Go, Protoss! I still have hope that he's going to win this game. Make some insane comeback. Berserk will triple mine out all 3 bases as he runs wave after wave of Hydralisks into his Colossus. But I doubt it. Trying to re-expand at this point there is probably not the best of ideas. It's not very well defended. It's not easily held, especially when there's creep surrounding it entirely. This expansion is much safer to hold than the gold, because all you have to worry about is this one choke point. You can put a pylon up there, a couple of cannons on there, and really it's hard to break through that. If he starts breaking through the rock, just put 2 sentries up there and start force fielding. You can cut a Zerg army to pieces through ramps like that, and they do not like being cut to pieces. Although I do enjoy cutting them to pieces, it's kind of fun. But this Doom army of Doom is going to be Doom for you. Yes, I said Doom a lot there. It's a cool word. I don't see this working very well. No energy for storms. Archons are actually a really cool unit to have in this situation. And there's the storms, but by now, what's Storm going to do? Boom. So, to recap, things that could have been done better. When you're doing the carriers, what the hell? I mean, now I know you're just trolling me or something. I don't know. But yeah, things that could have been done better. When you do that cannon block, that's great, but you only want like 2 cannons there. If he cancels, you want to cancel one of your cannons, only leave 1 cannon. Just acknowledge that that's going to die no matter how many resources you pour into it, because you can just attack it from the high ground and you can't see it, so he can poke away and kill you. It's going to die. Secondly, after you get your cannon contain going on, you want to get your next up as soon as possible so you can get onto 2 bases while the Zerg is on 1 base. That's really good for you, because Zerg kind of needs to be equal bases in order for the Zerg to have a chance. If the Zerg is on ahead of base, it's good for the Zerg. If the Zerg is behind a base, he loses, just outright. There's nothing he can do about it. 3 base toss crushes the hell out of 2 base Zerg. And continually make probes. Your probe saturation was pretty poor throughout most of the early game. Got a little better towards the late game, but, well, that's because more time passed, you had more time to make them. So once you have the 2 nexuses up, you just want to keep making probes. You get to like 40 or 50 of them by like 8-9 minutes into the game. Keep making gateways and keep your money spent. Your money got ridiculously high at a lot of points. But other than that, there's not much. Other than everything I mentioned, which is a lot, there's not much else you could have done to win this game. So whatever. But hope you found that helpful. Thanks for watching.